So we pulled up the solution manual from Moodle for the CLGO. We're on the first tax return, which is on page 7-55. And we're looking at the instructions on page A-33. And we're filling out our 941, and we're just following the instructions. And it tells us for line 1, we need to count up the number of employees that we ran a payroll for, including the payroll of December 12th. So I'm on the December 18th payroll. It's on page 46 of the Solutions Manual, and I'm pulling, obviously the 941 is a quarterly report, so I am using the information from the middle column. And it tells me you've got to take quarterly wages minus Virginia Russell's last check, which was what, $23.94, minus, why am I subtracting the simple? Yeah, you don't pay FIT on it. And you have to remember to subtract that from anything income tax related, FIT, SIT, CIT. So on my tax return, line 3, I take the gross, I subtract the simple, and what was Virginia's last check, $2,394? That's the amount that's susceptible to federal income tax. I'm sorry, not line 3, line 2, pardon me. Line 1 is the number of employees, line 2 is the wages. Line 3 asks you for what was the total amount of federal income tax withheld. So I'll give you a couple minutes to do that, and then we'll all meet up on line 5A. So far on, that should say line 2. Line 2, we have the wages that are susceptible to FIT, total quarterly gross, minus simple, minus, why are we subtracting Virginia Russell's last check? She died and she didn't have to pay income tax, but she did have to pay Social Security on her final check. Okay? Dying is no excuse to get out from underneath. They tax you till you're dead, and then they take it out of your last paycheck because Social Security can go to survivors. And yeah, anyways, I won't get into that. Okay, line 3, you just put in the federal income tax that was withheld for the quarter from here. Okay, line 5A, which wages are susceptible to Social Security? Is everything susceptible to Social Security? Only the first one, 18.5. Let me give you some instructions and then I'll let you roll. For line 5A, do I need to worry about subtracting the simple or Virginia Russell? No, that's all taxable for Social Security. What I do need to worry about is, did anybody cap? So you need to go scan the year-to-date column, find out if anyone capped, and if they did, subtract whatever amount of wages was over 118.5 from this guy, and then you'll have line 5A. Let me say that again. If somebody capped, you need to go find out who it is, and somebody did. You're going to find that by looking in the year-to-date column, and then you're going to go figure out how much did they go over the 118.5. However much they went over, you got to subtract that number from total wages, and that is line 5A. Who capped? O'Neill. How much did he go over by? So I'm just scanning everybody's gross pay to see who went over. Whatever that X is, just subtract it from the quarterly gross wages, and that's how much is susceptible, right, to Social Security. Then just multiply out line 5A. Everything goes on line 5C. Multiply that out and meet me down on line 6. Total that up, and let's all meet up together on line 6. Go ahead. No, because you don't have to subtract the simple or Virginia Russell. You start right with yes. Everything is susceptible to Social Security except the amount O'Neill went over. How we doing? Do you? So what's the goal? Yeah. How much should he go over the cap? Yeah. So do you pay Social Security on that? No, not the amount he goes over the cap. Well, so tell me what we're trying to do. you. So this is all taxable, right?
Yeah.
And what if this is?
So you have to subtract that from there, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yep. Sure. Okay, so you want to close out? That's correct. That
One final.
yeah.
I just did the step on it.
It should be, these are gonna be tips. Okay, yeah, so these guys are fine. I mean, they won't put out. Yep, that's it, yep. Okay. Yeah, yeah, great, yeah, perfect. Excellent, yep. Okay, now no, we've got to go and find, as I show up. So, who are we on, O'Neill? Okay, how much do you make all year? And what's our cap? Right, so you have to figure out how much this went over money to buy. 13 something, right? Okay, then you're hoping, or you're starting with what number in line 5A? Not a year. Was the amount year to date that he went over the money to buy? Yes, mine is gonna be that 55. Yeah, so it's in for everybody. I'm going to give you a check figure for line 6 here. On what? Okay, what's the quarterly wages for everybody? Right, and all you're doing from that number is subtracting the amount that O'Neill went over. Yes. All you're doing, you guys, from that 171 is subtract the 171,000 roughly that's quarterly, is subtracting the amount that he went over the cap because you're not paying Social Security on that. Go ahead. No, line 5C is everything's taxed. There's no cap on Medicare, is there? No. $61, 24,686, 61. What is that number? It's all my what? What is it? Look at line 6. You're supposed to add up all what numbers? Yeah, it's all FICA, FIT. It's everything for the quarter, isn't it? Because your line 3, which is your federal income taxes in there, both shares of Social Security, both shares of HI, right? I'll wait for everybody to catch up because it doesn't really serve any purpose to bust ahead. Is your Medicare wages? What's taxable for Medicare? Everything. No, but there's no cap, and you don't subtract the simple. You don't subtract Virginia Russell. Whoops. So you can just pull that number that we've been starting with for all of our calcs. Yeah. equal this, you're fine. And you'll see that because line 6 asked you to add up FICA, FICA, FIT. Line 6. Okay. FICA, FICA, FIT all adds up to line 6, doesn't it? We don't have any adjustments. 7, 8, and 9. You therefore carry line 6 down to line 10, and they deposited everything. That's line 6. Oh, that's 5E? Gracious. So what is that number? 57,120. 57,920. Is that right? Because the FIT was 33,000. Sure. Who's off? What you do, it's right up here. Line 5E and line 6 are right here. And you're just following the instructions. They tell you what to add up for each of the lines. This is the same 941, you guys, that we did before. So it's FICA, FICA, FIT ends up on line 6.
I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 7.21. Well, it's close, but
158. So what number?
I don't really give a shit.
13,038.41 is your excess. Let me.
I ain't learning. I'm not sure what number. It's close, but it's not good. Yeah, I don't start out with the rest of them.
Everything that we had on the board is right here. The wages on line 2, or is that line 3 or line 2? Sorry. The wages, gross wages, less Russell, less simple. That's just in your calculator. Total wages paid for line 5A, 171,917.47, minus the amount that O'Neill went over the 118.5. Then it's just multiplying. You're just multiplying out the numbers. There's no adjustment to line 5C, is there? So then it's just adding. I mean, if you've got the components right, it's just, are you adding right?
Can you go up the screen so I can see what the top ones are supposed to be?
So you're stopping at line 6. They've done this little adjustment in here. We're not going to do that. We do that on the back page. So you're carrying your line 6 down to 10, and you're also assuming they deposited that.
Can I see what the top 2 numbers are supposed to be? 2 and 3?
Okay, so let's go back up to our payroll report. But those were up there as well, Klaus. I'd written all that up there as well.
Where's that?
I've got to get back up to the payroll report. Right there, here's the math to go right into line 2. And line 3, you just pulled right from here. Yeah? So when we did the 941s before, they were just like nobody capped and there was no like simple or anything. This is much more what they look like. People cap, some people die, people, sorry. Some people have, anything, the simple, the flex, the 401k, that's all got to be subtracted for anything income tax related. And by the way, don't forget to subtract the simple for anything for state income tax or city income tax. So I'm going to walk you through this payroll return, but you're going to do most of the rest of the other ones on your own. So pay attention to this. You never include simple or Virginia Russell in any income tax wage base, do you? Okay. Now we're on the back page of the 941. And you have to determine which of the three boxes in part 2 are pertinent. And you made the deposit, so you know. You guys did journal entries for the 941 deposits during the project, so you know which of these 3 things they are. So fill out which box, and then that determines what we have to do next. How often did you deposit? Did you make a deposit right after they ran the check? Did you wait all quarter? Did you do it once a month? What did you do? You guys, you made the manual journal entries to make the deposit. How often did you do that? Yeah, monthly. You made it monthly. Therefore, what do we have to fill out? Mm-hmm. Exactly. Or on part 2, you had to check the box that said you were a monthly scheduled depositor. So we have to figure out our liability by month. October, November, December. Okay? The easiest way to do that, let's see if they tell us how to do it. Okay, here's what I think the easiest way to do that is. The liability for any given month is FICA fit, right? For the month. I think probably the easiest way to do that is to either, load Excel and set up a spreadsheet, or you can do it on, just a piece of paper manually. And you have to go to each payroll, right? So in October, there were 2 payrolls, right? And you need to add up the FICA fit for October 9th plus the FICA fit for October 23rd, and that's your liability for month 1. So it's the FICA fit for 1029 and FICA fit for 1023. And if you add that all together, you're going to have to go back, though, to each payroll report, aren't you, from each payroll? Because you're not going to get that from 1218.
Get that from the balances and the accounts.
You could use the journal. You do however you want. Just pull the numbers from wherever you want. Yeah, you're right. You could absolutely get it from the journal. You could get it from the ledger. I always go to the payroll reports, but wherever you want to pull the numbers, that's fine. But you need to get employee FICA, employer FICA, and fit, and that's how much you owe for 1 month, or for 1 payroll. So if Pretty comfortable with Excel, do that. You know, if you don't have math errors, I would probably do that. But if you're manual, you can set it up manually too. So that, I'm going to probably turn the tape off because that'll take you a good, you've got to go through all eight transactions, obviously. You've got 2 payrolls in October, 3 in November, 3 in December to calculate how much you owed per month. And then obviously that's got to come to the number that's from the front page on line 10. And it tells you that. Total liability for the quarter, this must equal line 10. So you can really start by plugging line 10 into that. Total liability for the quarter, part 2, just plug in line 10. You know that's what number you have to come to. So, and again, I would probably set it up on Excel just because it does your math for you. But right, so if you add a FICA FIP for both the payrolls, you're going to get how much you owe for the first month, right? I would just go at, like Connor suggested, going to the ledger, or you can go to the payroll reports. You're just pulling the numbers straight off of the payroll reports for the current payroll, or the journal entries came from the payroll reports, however you want to do them. But you got to go back to 10-9 and find out what happened there. You're not going to pull anything from 12-18. You've got to go payroll by payroll. Let's go back up to 10-9. Okay, so I'm on page, whatever that is, 7, on the 10-9 payroll. And again, you can use, I'm just showing you the way I'm doing it, but you do it any way you want. How are you going to get FICA FIP from this? Are you in this column, or this column? Far left, right? This is obviously the current column. Can you pull FICA FIP from there pretty easily? How much is the FIT? Yeah, it's right here. How much is the FICA? Got to add these two numbers together. And you just add it again, right, because that's doubling it. So when you do that section at the very end, you'll figure out that you're off by like 31 cents, and just throw that into one of the months to make it equal to line 10. Okay, I am going to shut down the tech relay because it's not such exciting airtime to have nothing.